Hi guys, welcome to The Sales Way, a podcast for those working in B2B sales enablement and leading B2B sales teams. In each episode, we're going to be sharing super simple how-to guides and straightforward actionable insights to help you create more success across your sales enablement activities. Let's get started. Hi there and welcome to today's episode. So this time we're talking about reseller sales enablement. So what do we actually mean by that? Okay, so at a basic level, we're talking about how can you sales enable your resellers and channel partners. So that covers sales training, but it's also about making sure that your resellers have the right processes, resources, and tools in place to go out and sell your product. So in simple terms, you're doing whatever you need to do to enable your resellers to sell, whether that's removing blockers that are in their way or making it as easy as possible for them to go out and start engaging with customers. So to keep things simple, we're going to look at 3 ways you can get started with reseller enablement. And the aim of today's episode is to just give you those 3 things to think about so that you've got something in mind when you go and start building your partner program, and it might guide you with the beginning stages of your partner program creation. So you likely either fall into one of 2 categories. So perhaps you already have a reseller or partner program in place and you want to make some improvements or drive more sales through your resellers, or maybe you're just starting out and you're at the very beginning of building out your partner program. So the first thing that we're going to look at is how will you train your resellers? So will you integrate the training that you currently give to your own sales employees with reseller training? Or are you planning for resellers to have their own learning pathways and their own completely separate content? So to stop you duplicating your efforts, it's really important to think about what training material you already have and how can you repurpose that content for your resellers. So for example, you might have training content that shows your own sales teams how to sell against your competitors, but you might not want to share this really confidential information in your reseller training content, or you might want to edit it to some extent as the content will be shared and consumed outside of your organization where you don't have full control over it. So you might have the information, but you just need to move it around a little bit so that you're making sure you're only sharing exactly what you intend to share outside of your own sales organization. Also, it's good to think about the amount of content that you're going to need to put together for your resellers, because they're likely being trained by a number of other suppliers and vendors, just like yourselves. So you maybe can't expect your resellers to undergo the same level of training as your own employees. So what content are you planning to share with them for training purposes, and what content isn't going to make the cut? Now, there might be some cases where, yes, your resellers actually do the same level of training that your own employees do. But in a lot of cases, resellers are undergoing a training program with one vendor, a training program with another vendor, and these can quickly run into 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20 vendors that they're selling. So we really do have to be realistic about what is a reseller sales team going to be trained on. Secondly, another important consideration is thinking about how you will engage with your resellers. So the questions I'd be asking myself on this point, if I was setting up a reseller program, would be along the lines of, how will I communicate with my resellers? Will there be a reseller portal where they contact my company and where support requests are logged? Will I be employing reseller account managers to engage with resellers on a regular basis? Will we be creating joint account plans with our resellers? Will we be doing joint meetings between customers and our resellers? Or will partner sales reps go out and meet with clients without us? How much involvement will we need to have as a company when working on sales opportunities with our resellers? Are we expecting our resellers to be fairly autonomous in their sales activities, or are we planning that they will need a lot of ongoing support from us? So these are really important questions to guide your thinking about how you structure your partner program. Okay, so thirdly, what resources and tools will you be giving to your resellers to help them sell your products and services? Will you need to create a full partner portal that houses all of your training content and product data for resellers? Or will you just give your resellers access to an existing company intranet where they can download product briefs, they can access playbooks and resources? Will you need to create entirely new content just for your resellers, such as a reseller playbook or a handbook showing how your program works? Or are you going to need to create tools to help resellers register deals for better pricing? How will resellers be compensated? So will this require an entirely new tool for logging compensation claims, or can your existing company tools be used? So this probably sounds like a really overwhelming list of things to consider, but I bet you probably already have a lot of these resources already if you're operating your own sales team. So you're going to have the sales training content, you're going to have a lot of the tools that we're talking about. So these are just extensions to what you already have, and you might just need to rejig how you offer out these resources when it comes to engaging with your resellers. And remember, these are just 3 key points for getting you started with reseller enablement. And we're going to deep dive into specific areas for enabling and supporting resellers in later episodes. So let's recap the 3 points for you to think about if you're looking to get started in enabling and training resellers for your brand. So 1, think about how you're going to actually train your resellers. What training content do you have today that you can repurpose, and what content are you going to need to create from scratch? 2, how will you engage with resellers across the entire reseller lifecycle, from onboarding and training through to prospecting and customer management, pricing negotiation, product demos, and everything else? 3, finally, what tools and resources will you need to give your resellers to ensure they have everything they need to go away and start talking to customers about your product or service? Okay, so that's all for this episode. Check out thesalesway.com to find other episodes on reseller enablement and B2B sales enablement in general. See you next time. You've been listening to The Sales Way, brought to you by Contenza. To carry on listening, head on over to thesalesway.com to find more episodes.